Okay then, it's Tuesday and we're on day 2 of Habaneball. We're going to start up with a fast foot warm-up. Here we go, 2 markers, 1 stride apart. These are a bit big, but it's quite a windy day and other markers were blowing around, so these are my markers. You start at one side with your foot in the air, really important. You step into the middle, 1, 2, lift your foot up and over, 3, and leave the leg in the air. Okay, so not very good there. Leave the leg in the air and you're balanced. And then you begin again. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, and stop. 1, 2, 3. I want to see the stop. I really want that stop on 3. And when you get better, you can start using your arms. If you use your arms, it helps with the balance. Remember, it's opposite arms, and it will really help with your balance if you use those arms. Drive with those arms. So, pause now, have a go at that pattern, start slowly. Then once you have the pattern, you can build up the speed. But I want to see that stop, and I want you counting in your head 1, 2, 3. I'd rather you do it slowly and do it well than do it quickly and do more than 3 steps. All right? Go and practice. If you need to come back and look at that again, come back and look again. Okay? Let's get it right. Pause, go practice, and I'll see you when you're ready. Okay, our feet are warmed up. We're going to warm up our hands. You need a ball that is not too big, and it can either be a ball that you can hold in your hand or just a ball that you can pass quite easily. Yesterday we were bouncing. Today we're going to be rotating it around our body. Okay, 1. Ooh, it's a light ball. 2, 3, 4, 5, and you keep going until you get to 10 or 20 or 30, and then we're back the other way. Again, I want to see either 10, 20 or 30. If you happen to drop it, you start again at 1, 2, 3, okay? And when you've gone both ways for either 10, 20 or 30, do it once more. So you're really familiar with this ball, okay? Stop there. I've had my turn, it's your turn now. See how good you get. If you want to give yourself a real trial, time yourself, okay? I'll see you in a moment when you're ready for the next activity. Fantastic, so we're getting a feel for the ball. We're thinking more about handball today. It's worth you going into Google and Googling handball or on YouTube and having a look at how it's played. It's a fast, exciting game, okay? Often the ball is high in the air. So we're actually going to practice taking the ball out of the air or catching the ball in the air. And the way we're going to do it, because lots of us will be on our own doing that, just like I'm on my own. So the way we'll be doing it is we'll be doing an overhead pass. Before we start doing that, we're just going to warm up the shoulders because we don't want anything to happen. So standing, feet apart, I want you to touch the ground, up in the air. 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 Keep going. I want you to bend those knees a bit more now. And then I want you to add a little jump. And down, and jump, and down. Just warming ourselves up, okay? Just warming ourselves up gently. Remember, when we land, we bend our knees. We call it soft knees, because if we went like that, we absolutely shock our knees, our hips, our backs, everything. So we always bend our knees. Remember, try and land on your balls of your feet, okay? Not stamp with your heels, because again, it shocks you up here. It's the balls of your feet, and then you go down, okay? So, up, down, little jump, Can you hear me? Yep, nearly silent because I'm timing it right, okay? Do about 20 of those just to get warmed up, get your shoulders warmed up. After you've done 20 of those, a few rolls, okay, forwards and backwards. Again, 20 rolls forwards, 20 rolls backwards, all right? You know what you're doing? Pause, have a go at that, and then come back for the next part. Okay, for this next part, you might need your thinking cap on, okay? Because we're going to be bouncing the ball, and I'm wanting it to go quite high because in handball, often the ball is in the air and you take it out of the air, okay? If you're inside, you have to think about your ceilings and any lights you might have on your ceiling. In quite a few houses, the hallway is a good place for this activity because sometimes you get a little bit more headroom. But ask your parents, and if you can't send the ball really high, don't. Just a bounce in front of you will do. If you can be outside, you might have to think about your ball that you're using, and you might have to change it for a bouncier ball. So you might have to experiment like you did yesterday, okay? So I've got what I would call my handball, and what we're wanting to do, so I'll move back so you can see above me, is wanting to bounce it using that overhead action we've just been practicing. We're going to throw it into the floor just in front of us, and it's going to bounce straight up, and the idea is that then we catch it in the air. Now this ball is not really bouncy enough, okay? It's okay, but I'm really catching it, even at the top, just about nose height. I'd like to have a bit more fun and go higher. If I was indoors, that would be fine, okay? So, you might want to use a tennis ball, or in my case, my dog's ball, or you might want to use a rubber ball that's very bouncy. I'm not even making any effort, and wow, it's going in the air. I'm going to use this one because it's easier for you to see. So the activity is 2 hands, okay, bounce it down and catch it, okay? 2 hands, meet it in the air. This is one of my favourite balls. Can you see it's got dimples? That means that when it hits the floor, it can go in all different directions. So I have to really move my feet and watch the ball, track the ball to make sure I can get it, okay? So, here we go. Oh, yes, got it. And did you see my knees bend? And again. Yes. Here we go. All right, right. So that is the activity. I want that big bounce, and then I want to see you jumping up and catching that ball, landing with your knees bent, okay? Pause. Go and experiment with the balls that you have. See which is the best one for the space you're in. And then see if you can do 20, 30, 50 of those on the trot. And when you can, pause and come back. Handy hint. If it's proving a bit difficult, use a ball that's maybe either a bit more bouncy, maybe your ball isn't bouncy enough, or if your ball is going too high, use a bit less force so it's not bouncing quite so high, or just catch it lower, okay? But the main thing is I want you tracking and catching, all right? Pause, off you go, and I'll see you in a moment. Right, we're going to build up a sequence now, so I'm going back to my more handball-like ball, a ball that I can hold in one hand, okay? We're going to go quite quickly. It's going to be my turn, pause, and it's your turn, then come back for the next bit. And there's a few steps to this, and we're going to build it up into a nice activity, all right? We're just going to start off with bouncing with one hand. Okay, if you need to move your feet to make sure that you're in the right place, if the ball goes off, do. If it goes way off, catch it, bring it back, and then start again. 10 on one hand, and then swap to 10 on the other. Then, if you can do 10 on each hand, do 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 20, and then swap to 20 on the other. Okay? Try and do that squeeze, not a slap, okay? Don't have a hard hand, have a nicely soft hand that cradles the ball, okay? Right, cradles means that it would sit in your hand if you did it the other way up, okay? If you had a flat hand, it would roll off, all right? So cradle the ball, okay, or cup the ball, and trying to squeeze. It will depend on your ball, then the other hand, all right? Try that. 10 on one hand, 10 on the other, 20 on one hand, 20 on the other. If you're finding it harder, start at 5 on each hand and then build it up. If one hand's worse and you're finding it harder, practice more on that hand. Like your feet in football, we want both hands, to be as good as each other. Pause, it's your go. Okay, right, so we've bounced with one hand, we've bounced with the other hand. We're now going to do the V bounce, where the ball goes from one hand, boink, onto the ground, bounces up to the other hand, okay, so it's a V bounce. For this, you need to make sure that your feet are apart, okay, and the ball goes to the middle and comes up. If you get it in the middle, it will come up. This is a slightly less bouncy ball, so I'm having to really push it a bit harder, really pump it a bit harder, but can you see how you can soon okay, the aim is to get the ball always in the middle. If it's always in the middle, it will come up at the right place. You most likely saw this arm is not very good. This arm's good, it's my right hand. I'm right-handed, my left arm's not so good, so really I need to practice more with that hand. I might break it down and just practice that bounce to get it in my head, or rather, to get it in my muscle memory, okay? If you have a problem, like me, one arm's not good, just practice that arm on its own. Remember, whole, part, whole. I practiced the whole, this arm wasn't good. I practiced this arm on its own, that's the part, and now I'm going to put it into the whole. See if it's any better. Oh yes, that's better. And the whole time, whoops, that wasn't quite so good, I'm watching the ball. You've got to watch the ball, okay? Pause there, have a go. If you're struggling, come back for the handy hint, okay? Enjoy that bit, practice hard. I'd like, 20 good ones, maybe a pause, and then maybe another 10 or 20 on top, okay? If you're finding it a bit more difficult, maybe go for just 5 or 10, a pause, and then 5 or 10 more. Right, I'll see you soon. Okay, handy hint. If you're having trouble, it may be that the ball is not going to the right place. So if the problem is that the ball is coming up and it's not coming up to your hand, most likely it's not hitting the right place on the floor. So watch where the ball's going. My feet are apart and I want the ball to be landing absolutely in the middle. So it's going to go down, hit the middle and come up to this hand. Down, hit the middle and come up to that hand. Down, hit the middle and come up there. Sometimes the ball might be too close to you, maybe it's too far away. You have to have it just in front of you. So from the side, I've got my hands here, elbows at the side. That's where I want the ball to come up to. Here, to the middle, here. I'm not reaching out, I'm not wafting around. From here, to the middle, to here. Here, to the middle, to here. So when it's hitting the ground at that hands out part, okay? So that's where you want it to be hitting the ground. Okay, so your hands are not having to move. Okay, your hands are not having to go in and out like that. You're not constantly reaching over there, reaching over here, because it's absolutely in the middle. The other thing is, if you're like me and you're working on paving, or maybe your backyard's a bit bumpy, if you're inside you'll be okay because the floor will be pretty flat. But if you're on a place like me where you've got paving stones, try and be bouncing it in the middle of a paving stone, because that paving stone will be flat. If I'm bouncing it on a crack, it will most likely go in different directions. Okay, that's your handy hint. Go practice 10 and then have a rest and 10 more. If you think you can do even better, 20, have a rest and 20 more. And then come back because we're going to bolt on another bit of practice. So we're building up this sequence. Okay, see you soon. Okay, some of you might be saying, but Miss Ray, my ball's a really small ball, it's tricky. Yeah, that's fine, but like yesterday, it does you no harm to be using a different sort of ball. It just makes your brain work harder and in actual fact will make you better in the long term. So let me practice with you with a smaller ball, just to show you that it is possible. Focus on the ball, focus on the ball. I'm trying to get that V shape. This is a bit of a funny ball, but even with a funny ball, look how I'm moving my legs. So my legs are going with the movement, okay? Right? So any ball you have will be fine. Just keep at it. We're going to bolt on another section now. So get ready. Right, now we've got that V bounce going. We're going to put in a couple of strides. We're actually going to put in 3 paces. So 3 steps, that's why we're practicing 3s earlier. 3 steps with 3 V bounces. So start yourself off, get ready. 1, 2, 3. Okay, try and get the V bounce. 1, 2, 3. All right, try and build up the speed, but start slowly at first. So it's a pace for every bounce. 1, 2, 3. And I'd like to see a V bounce. All right. 1, 2, 3. Woo! All right. So build it up slowly. Start off in a straight line. A straight line's really good because you can see where the ball should be bouncing. Should be bouncing in front of your foot. Okay, ready for you to step forward and take the ball up here. All right, so it bounces in front of your foot, you step in front of your foot, you step in front of your foot. All right. Ooh, pause. This may take a bit of practice, so for this one I want you to practice until you can do that really quite easily. I would prefer slow and accurate to speedy and the ball pinging off everywhere. Okay, slow and accurate, because you can always build speed up over time. Okay, go practice and have fun. See you in a bit. Okay, so you're now V-bouncing beautifully as you stride along, as you cover the ground. So you're carrying the ball and you're dribbling with the ball. We're now going to add the big double-handed throw, jump catch, and the 3 V bounces. All right, so this is very much what you'd see in a match. You'd see someone jump up in the air, catch the ball, 3 V bounces, and then they'd be looking to pass the ball. I've moved this way so that I've got a bit more space. If I was using a hard ball, I would not be anywhere near these windows, okay? You can do this in a much smaller space, but I'd like you to see how it would look maybe on a court where you're playing a game and you're trying to cover distance, okay? Wish me luck and let's see how I get on. Make sure I'm in view. Okay, so I'm not sure if I went off screen there or not, but I hope you got the idea there. So it's the big jump, like I caught the ball in the middle of a game, 3 V bounces with 3 paces, okay, and then I'm ready to pass the ball or shoot. All right, I've done that once. I would like you to pause. I'd like you to practice that. Practice really slowly at first, just so you get the pattern, and then build up the speed as you get used to it, okay? Once the pattern is ingrained in you, then the speed comes, all right? Don't try and do it too quickly first of all, otherwise what usually happens is the accuracy goes, and if the accuracy goes on your V bounce, the ball will be pinging off and you won't be in control. I want 10 perfect ones. Throw, jump catch, V bounce, V bounce, V bounce. Okay, throw, jump catch, V bounce, V bounce, V bounce. That'd be 2. I want 10. 10 really good ones, then come on back and we're going to put a bit on the end. Okay, you must be looking like a brilliant handball player. Picking the ball out of the air, landing nicely, 3 strides with 3 lovely V bounces. And now you're ready to shoot. I'm going to use this wall here. I've had my cap on, my thinking cap on, I've checked everything out, I've moved things that I needed to move. If you need to do something like this, ask a grown-up, okay? Don't worry if you haven't got a wall, you could use a towel on a line, or you could just use a marker on the floor, a box on the floor, or something else. We don't mind what we use. At the moment, I've got a wall, so I'll use a wall, all right? So let's see how it looks with a shot added on the end. Okay, I was really close there. Maybe I ought to zigzag. If I had more room, I have got more room, I'd go back further. If you haven't got so much room, you might just do 3 paces on the spot like this. Okay, if you didn't have much room, bounce, left, 1, 2, 3, in a circle, and then shot. Okay, so you can do it however it suits you. Go away and have a go at that. See if you can do that sequence and look like a brilliant player, okay, a handball player. Big bounce, take the ball out of the air, nice landing, V, step, V, step, V, step, shoot, all right? So here are some handy hints to help you shoot like a professional. First of all, remember your position. When we shoot, we point with the hand that doesn't have the ball to the place we're shooting. The other arm should be up here in a nice L shape, ready to throw. Okay, I'll move back to the wall. So L shape, okay, and throw. And if you notice, this hand, after it threw, followed through and pointed where I wanted the ball to go. So L shape, weight on the back foot, throw and receive. Okay, that is how you make it accurate. Correct setup, L shape, pointing in the right direction, throw and end up pointing with the throwing hand where you want the ball to go. That should help you a lot, okay? If you're bouncing off the floor, it's the same thing. Think of the point on the floor where the ball needs to go, okay? You might have to practice a few times, just very gently like this. Too high, just right. Okay, so you might have to practice a few times, and when you've practiced and you found the right spot, it might help to draw a circle or marker, put a marker on the floor, and you know the ball has to bounce there or next to that point to be in the right place. And then set up and point at the floor. Oh yes. Okay, it's all about practicing. Once you've practiced that part, that scoring, 10, 20, 30 times, the more you practice, the better you're going to be. Put it back into the hole with the bounce, jump, V, V, V step, and then the score. Okay, go on, go see whether you can make that bit better. All right, you must be looking like a mighty fine handball player. You can pluck the ball out of the air, land beautifully. You can V-pass yourself on a dribble, yeah, and then you can score. Now just start adding stuff to make it more fun. So I've got myself a rectangular target. 10 points if I hit the target. But in the corners, can you see? Oh, it's difficult to point. I've got some circles. Whoop, there we go. I've got some circles, and I get 50 points if I score with one of those. But most importantly, look what I've got behind me. Yes, I've got a chair that is going to be my opponent that I'm dribbling around. So let's see how I do. Oh dear, there we go. I just missed the circle, didn't I? Had to be careful of the windows there. Okay, you can add as many things as you like to this game. You could have more chairs to go around. Use the same sort of dodges as we used in football. You can turn your back on it, okay? Just use your beam. If you're using a beam, you have the ball here, and you go to there, step round to here, keep stepping. You've kept your back to the player, okay? So you can use some of the same techniques. If you had a corner with walls in both corners, you could do like we did in the football. You could do a pass, okay, to get around the player. So get the ball, okay, you can do a B. If this was a wall, I could do a pass, get the ball, and then score. Okay, so you can play around with it depending on what you've got in your area. And of course, if you're playing with a family member, you could pass the ball between you to get round a player, or you could play on two ends of a court. Okay, just have fun, enjoy it. You've got some really good skills there. The more you use them, the better they are going to get. So I'll leave you with that activity. Enjoy it, develop it, and I'll see you tomorrow for more fun and games. Take care.